The world can change in a single, terrifying instant. For 6-year-old Leo, that instant arrived in the suffocating silence of his own home. He wasn't running from a fire. He was running for help, driven by a primal fear no child should ever know. He burst into the bustling chaos of Fire Station 42, his lungs burning, his small heart pounding a desperate rhythm. Captain Ben, the man he knew only as a kind neighborhood hero, looked up. Leo stumbled, collapsing at the firefighter's feet, his words choked by sobs. "They took my mom! She's gone! The bad lady took her!" The quiet suburban nightmare had spilled into the daylight, and the man Leo ran to was about to reveal a shocking truth that would redefine this entire emergency. Our story begins in the picturesque, quiet suburbs, a place where the greatest danger usually involves traffic. This is the home of Sarah, a dedicated nurse whose grueling night shifts left her perpetually exhausted, yet fiercely devoted to her son Leo. Sarah needed help, and when a friend recommended Tiffany, a young woman whose smile was as bright as her assurances, Sarah thought her prayers had been answered. Tiffany was overly helpful, almost suspiciously perfect, offering to manage everything from meals to laundry, quickly earning Sarah's trust. But behind that bright facade, the air around Leo grew colder. When Sarah was gone, the sweetness vanished. Tiffany became a warden, locking away Leo's tablet, minimizing their outings, and creating a wall of isolation between the boy and his mother. Meanwhile, across town, life at Fire Station 42 seemed routine. Captain Ben was the rock of the station, calm, methodical, and respected by his team, Jake and Maria. But sometimes, when the station was quiet, Ben would take calls on a secure line, his face hardening with a look that belonged less to a firefighter and more to a man hunting shadows. The trap was sprung when Tiffany convinced the exhausted Sarah that she absolutely must take a week-long out-of-state medical course. Tiffany volunteered, taking Leo, easing Sarah's guilt with constant, overly positive texts. Sarah tried to set up security cameras, but Tiffany smoothly claimed they were malfunctioning, needing them to be turned off for maintenance. The stage for the disappearance was set, the door locked, and the innocent victims were a lot. As soon as Sarah's taillights disappeared down the street, Tiffany's facade shattered completely. Leo's beloved gadgets were confiscated. His meals became meager, his time confined to his room. Tiffany's constant stream of texts to Sarah claimed Leo was just fine and sleeping well, expertly creating a false sense of security for the worried mother hundreds of miles away. But the babysitter's true goal wasn't just neglect, it was calculated greed. Through frantic phone calls made in whispers, we learned Tiffany was a key component in an organized crime ring that specialized in exploiting working single parents. She didn't just want a few valuables, she was systematically liquidating Sarah's assets, jewelry, electronics, to hold the entire household, including Leo, hostage until her next large nursing paycheck was deposited. Leo, trapped and scared, realized the woman who was supposed to protect him was evil. He began to plan. He remembered the backdoor code used for the family dog and began stashing small essentials, a flashlight, a note for his mom, preparing for a desperate bolt to freedom. The boiling point was reached when Tiffany received the sudden panic news that Sarah's course was canceled. She was returning home a day early. Panic turned into rage. She began stuffing crucial documents and cash into a large suitcase. She aggressively informed Leo they were taking an immediate surprise vacation. But Leo saw the terror in her eyes, confirming his worst fears. As Tiffany struggled with the heavy luggage, Leo found his window. He slipped the latch, opened the back door silently, and ran, heading for the one place he knew offered absolute safety: the fire station. The moment Leo's cries echoed through the firehouse was the moment Captain Ben's entire reality shifted. The kind, laid-back firefighter vanished. Ben's eyes narrowed, his code words clipped and military precise. Execute Red Protocol Gamma, deploy Surveillance Unit 7. Jake and Maria, the easygoing firefighters, instantly shed their roles. their uniforms replaced by tactical vests, their camaraderie by chilling focus. They were not firefighters. They were an elite, highly trained investigative unit. Ben brought Leo into a secure office. The first truth was devastatingly simple. Captain Ben was actually Chief Investigator Benjamin Hayes of the Interagency Task Force on Financial Exploitation. The babysitter, Tiffany, was part of a known, sophisticated organized crime ring that used innocent cover jobs to identify and exploit financially vulnerable families. The fire station wasn't just a place of rescue. It was the perfect local headquarters, providing an ironclad, inconspicuous cover for the investigators to track the ring's activities in the quiet suburban neighborhood. The fire calls themselves often served as covers for necessary stakeouts and intelligence gathering. Now, the operation was active. Tiffany was already fleeing in Sarah's car, racing toward a secluded storage facility, her final desperate escape point. Ben, Jake, and Maria, now in an unmarked utility truck, used their extensive training and cutting-edge surveillance to track her every move, preparing to spring the trap that had been 6 months in the making, thanks to the courage of a little boy. The storage facility was desolate, a perfect backdrop for the end of a nightmare. Tiffany met her hulking awaiting partner, Mark, ready to complete the transfer of stolen documents and money into a waiting rental truck. They had almost won. Then, silence shattered. Investigator Ben Hayes, no longer the friendly captain, stepped out. Tiffany's immediate reaction was arrogant denial, but when Mark charged forward, the investigators moved with lightning speed and flawless coordination. Mark was subdued using precise, non-lethal tactical efficiency.
The look on Tiffany's face was priceless, a mixture of shock, betrayal, and utter defeat. She realized her perfect little plan was undone by the very people she thought were mere civil servants. Maria read the Miranda rights, detailing the crushing weight of the charges: kidnapping, grand theft, organized fraud. The sweet babysitter was exposed as a heartless criminal. A moment later, a uniformed officer brought the true victim, Sarah, to the scene. The scene was raw, overwhelming emotion as mother and son were reunited, Sarah clutching Leo as if she could never let go. The investigators meticulously recovered every stolen item, every document, confirming that the entire organized crime cell had been arrested, all because a 6-year-old boy trusted a firefighter. Back at the fire station, the weight of the investigation lifted. Ben Hayes explained to a profoundly grateful Sarah that his cover as fire chief allowed him to seamlessly serve and protect the community from threats far beyond fire. He assured her that the dismantling of this exploitation ring was complete and justice for Leo and Sarah was secured. The news cameras descended, covering the heroic actions of the Fire Station 42 crew. Leo, no longer crying but standing tall, was celebrated as the courageous boy who alerted authorities. He was hailed as a hero, giving hope to the community and a crushing blow to the criminals. Days later, life settled back into a reassuring rhythm. Sarah, finally breathing easily, brought the station a massive celebratory cake. Captain Ben accepted it with his familiar warm smile, exchanging a secret, knowing wink with Leo. Their bond, forged in fear and sealed by a heroic operation, was unbreakable. The lesson for all of us is simple. Always trust your instincts. The faces of those who protect us are often obscured by their uniforms, but their dedication to justice burns just as brightly. Sometimes the bravest heroes are the ones running toward the danger, and they come in all forms.